go.
Lovely to see the Coxers bracing themselves for the power that comes pouring down in this lead crew as they make a nice tidy start and stay really tight to the island. I'd like to see that line.
They got away well. I wasn't quite sure they were going to because their blade angles were all at different angles off the start. The first 10 strokes were really effective.
Look at now, TJ Hollis in the stroke seat of that Agecroft crew, driving the crew out. He's made it to the Saturday in the past. He'll want to get a good win today and try and carry that on, but they're not going to find it easy against this, as you say, pre-selected quality lead crew. They're taking a small lead at the top of the island.
And they've been doing well all season. They came 6th in the final of the Club 8 at Wallingford Regatta early in the year, and Lee have been producing crews, strong crews at this level all season and for the last few years too.
And they're trying to stay calm, they're trying to stay quiet in the Agecroft crew. Hard to tell quite who's getting the lead here. It's really side by side as the crews are now going to start to come off their race blasting start pace, and we'll settle into something which is just a little bit more relaxed, but I can't see the stroke race coming down much as they pass the quarter mile.
It's a key part of the race, isn't it, Greg? Because they've got to get that right. Because if they go too low and they try and relax too much, then the other crew will disappear. But they've got to find that rhythm and length off the start. And some crews find it really natural, some crews really struggle to get that right.
Well, I did really like that sort of explosion of power that we saw from the Lee getting off the start. Now what we're seeing is a transition into just slightly longer, keeping the power and just settling into a pace which has just started them to edge away here as they're coming down towards the barrier. See that ice cream van in shot, and then the barrier will be the marker that they go through, and they're just easing out. I think it's about a quarter of a length.
Looks like
this stage. Yes,
maybe even closer. So two clubs from opposite ends of the country, from the Lee, from the east and part of London, rowing the River Lee, and Agecroft from Salford in Manchester.
And I can see John Hedger, the umpire there, taking a slightly quizzical look at the Lee steering. He's just wondering whether they're in the right position. Agecroft look like they're starting to wander slightly from their station as well as the crews come together. They'll be thinking now whether there might be time to pick the flag up and invite the crews to return to their stations. But he's looking fairly satisfied at this point.
And steering something as a Cox you want to avoid, because every time they use that rudder it upsets the balance of the boat. It also slows the boat down. Both eights are into a race rhythm of 36 strokes a minute or so, both taking the same rate of striking. And if you look, it's a lovely comparison for two strokes. Lee looking slightly more composed at this point.
TJ Hollis there in the stroke, so you can see him gritting his teeth, backed up by Michael Jones. And they're setting a decent pace in the stern of that Agecroft crew. Still moving nicely. I think they're still right in this as we're coming up here, coming towards Forley and the halfway mark.
Aren't they just? The lead Cox, as quoted saying, we always plan to come out of the blocks hard and get control of the race by getting in front. Hasn't happened today. They've got a side-by-side race, and this is where the head games start. The doubts start to creep in, and who's got the most mental resilience, because side-by-side, one-on-one racing, it's a real key component of racing here at Henley.
Well, I think this is what we train for all winter. This is what it's all about, being side by side with another crew. It's probably no more fun than being in an 8 where you're surrounded by people you've trained with all year, you've prepared with all year. You thought it looks good on paper, now you've got to see how it looks on the water.
Mind you, Lee were pushed hard off the start by Wallingford yesterday. They ended up beating Wallingford by 2 3/4 lengths. But that first maybe quarter, third of the race, Wallingford gave them a real run for their money. Similar to the race they're having today. Agecroft's race yesterday, they beat Bradley Mariners by 1 length, so a closer race in a similar sort of time.
And Agecroft look like they have wandered off the station a little bit. That will not have helped their speed, and I think they're going to have to make a little bit of a correction just to get their way back onto there, as we see the lead just making the most of that, taking advantage, moving up to about half a length. And we have a look there at Anthony Brewer. This is his 7th year racing at Henley. He's an experienced man, and I think he won't be phased, he won't be rattled, he'll be loving this moment.
It's happened 2 or 3 times down the course of the Agecroft crew. The Cox just drifted into the middle, and that will have cost them some time.
We see them now, they're back on their station, coming up towards the enclosures, and they're going to need to make a little bit of a change of pace as they come in. But this is still all on. This is a fantastic Henley race.
I think Lee just trying to get a decent lead at this point. They're taking an extra stroke a minute as we're approaching the enclosures. So we'll see on their faces too, they're making X little push in the legs, just to try and build a lead they can enjoy as they come past the enclosures.
Well, there's experience in that stern pair of the Lee crew. Alex Wildey in the 7th seat, backing up the rhythm. This is his 6th year at Henley, so yeah, plenty of experience on this course. They'll know all the marks. They'll know they're now hitting it into that area, the competitors' enclosure, and then the grandstand will be coming.
That look of pain on their faces tell you all what it feels like to this last minute or so coming into the finish.
Yeah, you see Richard Mathewson up in the bow seat. He's been rowing for 9 years. This is his first Henley Royal Regatta. Now we're feeling the extra 112 metres on this Henley course, 2,112 metres. And it's just that little bit longer than a 2,000 metre course. Now they're coming to that extra distance. Will this crew from Agecroft be able to sprint here in front of the grandstand? There's still time to do it. It's still close.
They're giving it a go. They've raised their rate of striking to 37 or 38 strokes a minute. Lee responding. They've increased theirs to 37 as well. Their lead is under a length, I would say, at this point, so it's really close. If Agecroft are going to do it, they need to move now.
Well, this is the camera position on the progress board. It's only about 10 strokes left. It's the Lee still looking pretty composed. They've squeezed that length up, that lead up to about 3/4 of a length now.
Yeah, an extra couple of strokes, a little bit longer, is making all the difference as they come into the finish.
Well, we're seeing it coming to a conclusion. In front of us here, the orange kit of the Lea Rowing Club, with 3/4 of a length lead ahead of Agecroft Boat Club B, who've given us a fantastic race, but confirmation of that win for the Lea Rowing Club in the Thames Challenge Cup.